Scott, Simone, good morning to you. And the prosecution will have the first chance this morning to sway the jury for the harshest possible punishment in this case, which could mean the death penalty. And to remind viewers about this case, Ian Mitcham, convicted of murdering and sexually assaulting Allison Feldman in her Scottsdale home back in 2015. Both police and Allison's family say there's no known connection between Allison and Mitcham and no known motive either. But prosecutors say this was a horrific crime of opportunity because of Mitcham's life circumstances at the time, saying he was down on his luck, angry, drinking too much with nothing left to lose. At trial, prosecutors said DNA evidence tied Mitcham to the crime. Mitcham and his defense attorney, though, maintain that he is an innocent man and that investigators failed to fully pursue another possible suspect. Arizona's family spoke with Josh Colesrud about this case, who's not affiliated with this case, and asked him if there's a lack of remorse for not admitting fault, if that's going to play into a part for a harsher sentencing in this phase.
So, if I were Ian Mitcham's attorney, I would certainly have my client show remorse to the victim's family, to the court, the prosecutor, and you can show remorse without admitting guilt in the case. Because again, you want to preserve the actual innocence argument later on when this case is appealed.
So closing arguments today for the sentencing is at 8:30. Of course, we'll keep you updated. It'll next be the defense chance to sway the jury for some leniency in this sentencing with this likely heading to appeal, guys. We'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and what makes this whole story even more sad is that Allison's father, Harley, passed away just after the verdict, weeks after the verdict. So he was in the studio one time when this all began. Just couldn't have been a nicer man. So it's just an awful story.
Yeah.
So.
Our condolences to the Feldman.
Yeah.